Hello everybody. Today I'll be demonstrating how to put an RJ-45 connector, like so, onto a piece of category 5 cabling. Inside the cabling it's got copper wires. It's probably pretty hard to see, but you'll see a little more once I get it all opened up. The things you're going to need for this are your crimping device, a pair of scissors, your connector, and a piece of CAT5 cabling. So the first step we're going to do here is we're going to strip off about 1.5 inches to 2 inches of the shielding around the copper wires here. So within your crimpers you've got, I don't know if you can see it there, but there's a razor blade and then a little notch in here that your CAT5 will fit into. And you're just going to take and you're going to run it around a couple times like so and get that opened up, and then once you get a nice little cut in there you should just be able to pull it off and expose your wires. The next step you're going to want to do is there's this little string here and you're just going to want to cut that off with your scissors. So we'll go ahead and do that real quick. So we've got that cut off, and now within the cable there is 4 different pairs of wires. You've got your white green and your green white, your white brown and your brown white, your white blue and your blue white, and your white orange and your orange white. So the next thing we're going to do is just separate these pairs. So I think the easiest method for this is to just take your fingers towards the top and just twist. So we'll go ahead and get that done real quick. It doesn't take very long. And people use category 5 cable just for like a networking cable. So if you want to hardwire a device to your router, say you've got a PlayStation or a smart TV and your wireless connection is just not very good, you can just get one of these cables and plug it straight into the router and establish a better connection. So the next thing I like to do after separating the pairs is I like to just straighten them out. You see how they're kind of little tangled or whatever. So what you can do here is you just take your pointer finger and your thumb and you just straighten it out. I like to go back and forth with it. You see how that wire is becoming more straight. I like to do that with all of them. I think it just makes them easier to match up once you get to that point. I apologize for my family up there, but I've got step siblings and they've got to get their homework done too, so can't always have a quiet place. Alrighty, so now that I've got my wires straightened out, here's where it kind of gets tricky. So there's a color code that goes along with this, and I don't have any fancy mnemonics or anything to help you memorize this, but you can look this up. There's 2 different methods you can use. There's a 568A method and the 568B method. I prefer the 568B method just because that's I learned that before I ever started schooling or anything, and before I ever knew there was two different methods. But I learned this through my brother, who's in the telecommunications industry. But so we're going to start off, and we're going to start with our white-orange. You can see how that cable is white and it's got little orange dashes. All the colors have that. So we're going to start with our white-orange, and we're going to match that up with our orange. So I like to then, once I get those matched, I like to keep my fingers pinched there. And from the white, orange, and orange, we're going to go white, green, which is right here. And like I said, I like to keep just running my fingers over them so they stay straight. And then we'll go to our blue. So if you haven't been able to tell, it goes a white, solid, white, solid. That's how the color code goes. And then from the blue, we're going to go white, blue. And we're going to kind of just, I like to wiggle them in like that. And then we're going to go green. like I said, you wiggle it just so they kind of match up a little better and they get a little closer. And then from your green, you're going to go brown, or you're going to go white brown, sorry about that. And then from your white brown, you're going to go to the brown. And you just keep wiggling. As you can see, the pairs are starting to get closer and they're straighter. And from there, I like to keep it pinched at the bottom, and then you want to cut about, so there's about 1/4 of an inch of copper cabling left. So you cut right along with your finger there, but sure to be careful so you don't cut yourself. And then we're just going to cut those off, and you can see we have our little copper cables there. So the next step is to now apply your RJ-45 connector. So you want to do this with the tab down, otherwise you'll make a crossover cable, and you don't want to do that because that's just what you do when you connect two like devices, like two PCs. So we're going to go ahead and slide that in, make sure our pairs match up, and then on the crimper here you've got a 6-pin and an 8-pin and slot, and we're going to put this in an 8-pin because there's 8 cables. So you put it in there like so, it should just slide right in, and then you just squeeze, and boom, there you have it, your RJ-45 connector on your CAT5 cable. Alrighty, have a great day.